Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pineapple Podcast, where it's all about being tough on the outside, sweet on the inside, and wearing your crown of gratitude proudly. Today, we have a beautiful and amazing guest, Donna Cook. So, Donna has really been investing since 2009. She developed her own real estate business that's actually called Freedom Lifestyle, which is exactly what this show is about. And today we're going to explore with Donna the rent to own space, as that is a unique strategy that brings out a lot. Donna, welcome.
Hi, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, our absolute pleasure. Donna, we really want to jump into the rent to own space, but just for the sake of our viewers as well, give us a little bit of a background of Donna's story. How did you become an investor?
Well, actually, I've always been around real estate. My dad was the builder, and I don't know, I just love real estate. And I
Nice.
did a few things previously, but I really got into it more in 2009 with my son, actually, and we were flipping houses together.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah,
cool.
and so then he's gone off and built a huge business, a different type of business, but
Okay.
Um, through all that time, I've done about 60 flips, and we did some cottages and did small multifamily and just tried different strategies and built, yeah. And then I found rent to own. And once I got into rent to own, I loved it, and I loved the whole strategy and helping people, and investors like it. And we're helping people get into homes sooner.
I love that story, Donna. That is truly amazing. And I like how you casually said, we've done about 60 flips. That is definitely a milestone. Congratulations on that. And the fact that it's a mom and a son doing this, I think that's brilliant because ultimately, what are we doing this for? Why are we chasing lifestyle freedom? It's for family, right? To be able to spend time with your loved ones. So you've started this business with your son, then you guys branched off, but you've remained in the real estate space because I guess you absolutely love it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely want to jump into this rent to own space because as a strategy, to me, it has a social benefit and it has a financial benefit. And it also has an investment strategy where it's not just about you, you can bring people in. So I think there's just about three pillars, in my opinion, that really gives value for people to own property. And for those of you, maybe you can start with what is a rent to own, Donna, because maybe some people don't understand what does that even mean, right?
Well, there's a lot of different ways of doing it, and for sure we do it so it's win-win-win. Most of the time, I work with an investor and a rent-own tenant myself, and so it has to be a three-way win. And the way our strategy is by screening the tenant first, and we have a pretty strict screening process. So we know we're working with the right people, but they're also people that are going to work hard towards overcoming any little challenges that they have to make this successful, because ultimately it does come down to them. But we do screening. We give them credit advice. They have this through the whole, usually a 3-year term with us. They might have some challenges with credit. They're saving for their deposit. Maybe they're new to the country, or starting a business. They haven't established 2 years of their financials yet. So there could be a few reasons that they're not able to qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
But they have to have the right attitude, I guess, towards it, that they are going to work towards this. And so many people are just hardworking, and it just hasn't worked out for them.
Very true, very true. So, one of the great things I think personally as well, in terms of what you're identifying here, is essentially the rent to own strategy in real estate. It allows an individual or person who really can't qualify for a mortgage today to actually be able to own a property today. And he or she is doing this because we have people like yourself that can pull investors together. So the social contribution to that, to me, is truly amazing, right? Now, I do agree. as everything else, you have to vet the right tenants. You have to make certain things that are qualifying them to get into the program. But think about this. If I can't buy a house today, I am in the rental market. I might have to move several times. There's a possibility of evictions. There's possibility of selling the house later on. So I'm constantly moving. And you're right. It could be, what are some of the reasons that people may not qualify? Well, maybe they had a bankruptcy issue and they're starting back on their feet. Maybe it is that, their credit somehow was compromised because of a separation or something, and they're rebuilding, right? But they have a decent job, they have income, but the bank is not ready for them. Or as you pointed out, and this is really, really important because I want people to know this, you're new to the country. As you know, the Canadian government has indicated that they are going to be moving into the country a significant number of immigrants. They need housing. They're going to need places to rent, or if they can get into the rent-to-own space. I mean, that's huge, right? Because it takes a year or two. In fact, it takes about 2 years to really build a credit file so that lenders can look at you and say, okay, well, I can see patterns. I can understand where you're coming from and building up yourself. So I really, first of all, congratulations on taking this income stream and making it into what it is, because from a tenant's perspective, this is invaluable. You're giving them the opportunity to own this property, and you're literally helping them to hand it over, you say, in about 3 to 5 years, right? So you're actually, selling your property when the strategy is always about buying and holding. So I would love to sort of unpack from that, what are some of the things that you look for when you talk to a tenant? Okay, like I come to you and say, hey, Donna, I'd love to do this. What are some of the things that you look for? And what are some of the things maybe I need to bring or have in order to get into the program so that I can qualify for the program?
Well, usually we have a couple, like a family. I think all of mine are families now that I think of it. And, you both have to have a good job and you have to have a deposit. And that, it makes them more serious about it. And it also helps our investor as well. So if they have a deposit, and then they will be saving the rest over the 3-year term. And they might have bruised credit. And we can work with that. We have a credit advisor that works with them through the whole time to help them increase their credit. But, like you said, it could have been an illness. Maybe they lost their job for a little while. There's, certain things, like, life happens. But as long as it's not an ongoing, we're going to the casino every weekend, that doesn't work. So it has to be, we want to see what happened and, okay, what can we do to help you to overcome that and improve your credit? And if it is, a consumer proposal, you work with those companies and then they come out the other side. And it's a tough go in a sense because they are paying rent, they're paying the option payment, and they're paying down credit problems. So it needs to be serious people. And we have people that are just like doing really, really well. And then they're improving the house too if they want. We only buy houses that are turnkey. And basically, I look for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, full basement and garage. That's our favorite house. And maybe the basement's not quite finished, and they could finish the basement. Now they've added some equity into the house themselves. And they take care of it so well because they are so happy to be in a house now and not, like you said, not moving. And then, their family is secure in one spot.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty with this whole strategy, because the tenant basically is the homeowner. They are paying for it. They are saving towards it. They have some deposit into the house already that they would work with you, and so you're giving a tremendous amount of value to this family. And just for us to understand conceptually as well. So I come into the deal, let's say I qualify. I have the right job. My wife and I are working. We have the down payment, whatever it be, 3%, 2%, 5%. What's the arrangement? Like, I'm taking this house in 3 years' time, right? Are we setting that price today, or are we waiting 3 years to set that price so that I know what I'm working towards?
No, we set the price now. We know what it's going to be then. They know what they're working towards. Their rent stays the same the whole time as well. And, we have different documents that they have to go through as we go further into the process. And
Right.
then eventually they sign a lease agreement for the house, a typical lease agreement, but also the option to purchase agreement. So everything's laid out there. They know what's expected of them and of us. And then we have a price range that they can afford, and we always stay under that. We don't want them to be stressed getting this house. And then my realtor takes them out and shows them houses, and we, buy them something that they want in the area they want.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let me ask you this, Donna. The market has shifted. Let's say you planned a couple of years ago that you're selling the house at X dollars. Let's say it's 500,000. But now it's either worth less or it's either worth more because the market is moving. Do you deal with that?
Well, I stay in markets that I am comfortable with. So the Manitoba market always goes up historically for the last 40 years. And so I'm comfortable with that. We just had one appraised a month ago, and we bought it 2 years ago. And it's actually worth, I think it came out about 40,000 more than what they're buying for next year. So our market is maintained in Manitoba. And if it goes up higher, that's fine. That's their equity. It's the
So hold
business
on,
to
hold on,
them.
hold on. So you're telling me if I buy this house, you and I agree it's 500,000, 3 years time, the market went crazy, it's worth 540, 550. That's my equity.
Yes, yeah,
Where do
because
I sign up?
yeah, we've made the plan in advance. We know what we're, going to make for that investment. We're happy with that. So if it happens to go up a little bit more, then, that's a bonus for the tenant. I'm also starting to work in Alberta around the Edmonton area. Same thing. We're happy, certain areas we've looked at and we're happy with those areas and we see them going up. If it was a declining market, I wouldn't be investing there.
Nice. Well, I'm happy that you're sharing that because for the potential tenants, and a lot of people don't even know that they can solve their housing problems today by finding investors like yourself. It's really very niche at this point in time, but those who get into it absolutely love it. And then on top of that, you're telling me that if I am committed to paying my rent, paying the down payment, or continuing to increase the down payment, and at the end of the deal, I am working with a financial person so that I could actually know that I can qualify for a mortgage in 3 years' time. And I assume that I can also make bank with this property if the market continues doing what it does. So to me, that's huge. That's a significant benefit. And on a social side, you're really and truly giving back. There is no better way of giving back to a family or to somebody that is in a compromised situation today, but can get better, right? So for investors who take on this strategy, I mean, how do you feel about that give back? To me, it's probably one of the most satisfying feeling you can get.
I honestly got into just as a different strategy at first. I was doing a flip and I learned how to do rent to own, and then we changed it into a rent to own. But as soon as you start working with someone, then you're all excited about it because you're helping them. You see the people and they're excited about the house, and gave them some hope. So yeah, it's easy to get all caught up. Um, but in the end, it still is a business. So then I work with investors that are interested in getting into this type of investment. And it's not just the social aspect. I feel, a safe investment. Nothing's, guaranteed,
Mhm.
but,
Yeah.
you've got a person that's put a down payment down and they're taking care of your house for you. They also pay the maintenance costs. So if they plug up the sink, they pay for it, and we are giving them a house that's in decent shape to begin with. So there shouldn't be any any repairs, and if there's anything that we felt had to be done, we do that up front. And then we're in an investment that has no vacancy, no realtor fees in the end, and hopefully no repairs.
So that is just a brilliant way of doing business, because you know what? Everybody does a business, but so many people complain about the lack of that job satisfaction. To me, when you help a family or people, it fills you up with great emotions, you know, that you're giving back and you're helping. But I want to change it over into the investor side now, because as you rightly pointed out, this is a business. You have to qualify to get into the program. This is not for just anybody. And you are selective because at the end of the day, you're giving somebody something that's worth maybe $500,000, $1 million, and they're going to live in it. They have to take care of it. And they really don't have too much invested in terms of the financial side. It's on you and your investors, right? But why would you do this? Like, what is the financial benefit? How does it work for you, the investor, to decide, okay, I'm going to give this strategy a go?
Well, I'm doing all the work to put together the whole investment. I take care of the tenant. We do have financial advisors, but we pay for that. And so that's their expertise, taking care of the tenant. We will take care of the house as well. We do checkups on the house all the time. And then, of course, we're buying, doing all the groundwork to buy it and in the end, the sell. And then I also take care of the financial investment part of it as well, paying everything, bringing in all the rent and paying out the cash flow and financial statements once a year. And now someone might be, really busy.
Right. So I just want to kind of frame it in for people to understand. If I am new to the strategy, I have met Donna. I said, Donna, you know what? I love this strategy. Educate me. I have $300,000 or $400,000 worth of to invest into this. What's the benefit to me if I come in as an investor? Because I'm sure you're not doing this only on your dime. You allow people to jump into different ventures with you as well, correct?
Correct. So when we find a house that works for that tenant, I match them up to an investor that's in the same price range and at the same time. And so they do put the down payment down and secure the mortgage for that house. And they are on title. And they are also, their name is also on the option to purchase agreement. And then we have a joint venture contract and shows exactly what is expected of all of us. Their benefit also is that someone else is taking care of the investment, and the returns are decent on this. They're good. And then also we have cash flow, and then we know what we're getting paid out at the end. And we don't need to worry about, like I was mentioning, there is no realtor fees and no vacancies and none of those unexpected costs of repairs during the term that we hold the property. And the income is derived from the cash flow on the rental portion, the mortgage pay down, and of course, the appreciation of the property when we sell it.
Nice. So basically, there's 4 ways to win. And you'll be able to benefit of that. But I think one of the key things here that you're sharing with us that I want to make sure and point out or emphasize on is the fact that you have a property where the tenant is taking care of it. That saves so much time. There's no property management involved as it would be in a typical rental unit. So that's a huge benefit. Now, I'd love to get into some of the numbers. And I think for the purpose of the exercise, because every property is unique in terms of the ROI. But since you've been doing this for such a long time, if I want to be sold in terms of what can I do with my money, if I lend it in the bank, I could probably get 1% or maybe 2% if I'm lucky. There are some investment deals out there on land developers. They typically can pay, anywhere from 10, 15, 20%. If I want to learn about the rent to own strategy, I mean, you've clearly indicated there's 4 ways to win already. you're getting supplemental income from the tenant because they're not only paying rent, they are paying a down payment or part of it, and then they're contributing towards that down payment over the time frame. So would it be fair to say, do we look at a ROI on average that could be probably north of 20%, or 30%? Or is it a range you typically see you running between, let's say, 15 to 50% over that time frame, right? Just to get some people some idea of what is the potential with this strategy.
Well, I'm investing in an area that got really good prices compared to the rest of the country. We're
Right.
in the 350 range here, and even where
Nice.
we're looking in Alberta, a little bit more. So getting into it is more affordable than, let's say, in the Ontario or the British Columbia market. That's where some of my investors are from. So they do
Right.
enjoy that part of it. So your down payment is much less. We look at double-digit returns, but I don't get into that because I don't want to be promising anything until, we have a discussion and we have a relationship, because all my joint venture partners I have a relationship with. So we know that we are working towards your goals. What are your goals right now in this time in your life? And then let's match an investment to that.
Absolutely. I love that. So the fact is, it is healthy and decent, but it's specific to the person. The fact that you're saying that you're building relationships with them to understand their goals, and then you're pairing them up with a property and a tenant that can help contribute towards their goals. I mean, that's a huge, huge value, because a lot of people get into different strategies, they get into different projects, and it's typically, it's almost hands off. It's like, here's your returns, here's when you're going to get it, and let's talk. And in this case, I get to know Donna, I get to understand, Donna gets to understand me, and we can do business together. So that to me is a huge benefit. And as an investor, I guess you also have to qualify the investor, obviously, right? So what are some of the qualities that I should have when we're talking or evaluating the opportunities?
Um, Typically, it's someone that's maybe, like I said, living a bit, well, they might not be, but they don't want to be hands-on. And so I'm doing all the hands-on, my team. I mean, I should have said too, we have a big team that works together at this. And, you have the deposit ready, and you know that you can qualify for a mortgage. And if not, I work with mortgage brokers that can help you do that. And I want someone that's going to help you with your goals in your real estate, building your portfolio. So once we have all that in place, and then you're interested in working in this type of an investment, it is a 3-year term usually. So does that time frame work for you? And also, you know what, there's a chance that it may not end on that, August 30th, 2024.
Yeah.
And it could be because of the bank. It could be, a few different reasons. Maybe they got set back for 2 months because of a job situation. So we do have that option, and it is in our contracts with the tenant that, we can extend for 6 months, but we'll know all that in advance. So I need to have someone that's interested in working, I'll work it all out, but they're okay with that. It could extend a little bit. We are there to help the tenant. And, there's just that slight situation. We've also had a couple of different things come up. One time someone was able to qualify for, they actually fixed their credit so much better and got, both of them got better jobs and a promotion, and they ended up buying a different house. So we gave them some of their deposit back, and
Right.
we put it up on the market and got more.
Wow.
It was when the market was
That's,
high, and
yeah,
we got more than we would have gotten if we'd gone the
stuck to
whole.
the agreement.
Yeah. And
So,
so anytime you're buying a house, that's why I said I have to have a house that's got, like the full basement and 3 bedrooms, 2 baths generally, because almost anybody will buy that house, and it has to be in a good area.
yes.
And then plan B is if it doesn't work, or something happens and they have to change houses, then you could either do another rent to own, or we rent it out or we sell it or change use. Like, there's so many other options.
Love that. Absolutely. And I mean, that's a true demonstration of win-win, right? You've helped the family, they've gotten into a better place, and now they even decided to get an even bigger or better property than what they have. And it benefits you because now you get the full market value. But Donna, I do want to, because the market is always different, because people's situation can change, for the sake of the investors as well. What happens if the tenant cannot keep the commitment? I mean, it's not the ideal situation because, like you say, you want the tenant, you're about the tenant, you want them to have the success in life. But what are the risks on either side? From the tenant side, what are the risks they're assuming if they cannot keep to the commitment? Because you're helping them, but it's also a serious commitment. Like they have to do this. This is dollars moving, and the banks at the end of the day, they don't care. It's like you got to make your payments, right? So what happens in the event, let's say the tenant really can't do it, they have to break the contract?
Well, at this point, I've never had no one that couldn't qualify yet. A couple have left for other reasons, like I said, for a different house. So,
Right.
there's always a way of making it work. Let's say you're a year and a half into it. Well, we've already gotten the cash flow for a year and a half, and we've collected the option payment. There is in the contract that we will give them a portion of their initial down payment back or deposit. So if
Beautiful.
they had to move on to a different house, well, we can help them with that. I can help them find another house, whether if it happens to be a rental and that's what they have to go do. Unfortunately, then they'll have to do that. We'll try and get them another house and give them a portion of their deposit back and to
Right.
get them help them along. But we still have the rest of that deposit. And of course, the house has to be in good condition because any damages or anything would come off of their portion anyway. And assuming the house is in great shape and we're a year and a half into it, we've got a year and a half mortgage pay down. Well, we can decide what do we want to do next? Do we want to go forward and just do another rent to own? And if we do, well, then there we are. We're not losing, we're just pivoting.
Absolutely. And that's important because I really want the investors to understand that, as you rightly said, you're doing all of the pre-work up front. So your risk is really being reduced. If there is a situation, you've already planned for it, right? And as you rightly said, this is the reason why the commitment on their side is also important, to give that down payment extra, to put something towards the house, because ultimately, the investor who's doing this, it's a great social benefit, but it's a business and there has to be financial rewards and security. And I love that. I love the fact that you've eliminated as much as you can the risk, because now I'm coming in, you're choosing markets where the prices are really, honestly, when you sit in the BC or the Ontario market and somebody tells you 350, you're like, give me two, right? This is the dynamics with the market, but that price point allows the market to continue growing. So even though we're in a down market, in reality, your positioning or your targeting properties really does contribute significantly to the fact that the ramifications or the exposure is not as great as, let's say, the guy who's buying the $1 million house or the $2 million house, because that is where the most of the impact will come, right?
Yeah, in
So
Manitoba, like the prices are still up over last year.
yes,
But yes, there was some of those crazy people
right.
were offering way over. So maybe the price is still the same, but you don't have 10 people offering. So now you can get it for the price that it's supposed to be. And
Right.
it's just balance. We haven't lost anything. We've still gained over last year, and it's still a healthy market. There's a diverse economy here. There's lots happening, and there is in migration, and also I invest too in areas around Winnipeg. We have a few people in either a smaller city or a town that's attached to another city.
Yep.
And that works really well too. There's small communities, and I don't know, it just seems like a nice place to be.
You know what? I love the fact that you're very confident, because you've been doing this for a long time and you're very confident with where you're choosing and the price points that you're choosing at, because you know that there's potential for growth. You're looking at the economics, you're looking at the person's income. You're looking at the development of the city overall. And you know that migration, or rather purchases, starts at the core, but it goes outwards because of people's affordability issues. And if you're doing the rent to own, they want to get a nice home. And the further out you come out of certain centers, you get that, right? And it's really, as they say, walk till you can afford. So I like the philosophy because it gives you that strength to say, hey, you know what? This is a solid investment. We've done it over and over and over again. So why not make this part of your strategy if you're a new investor and you want to explore this stream? The next beauty that I like is you're literally holding their hands, like you're doing everything, right? That's, to me, that's huge because you bring so many years of experience and expertise into the field that, you know, it's almost a no-brainer, as they say, to be able to get into the strategy with full confidence as a newbie, as somebody who's coming in, right? So absolutely love that. I think that is brilliant. So what are some, you know, share with us some of the experiences or stories that you've seen with rent to own, because I feel like in talking with you today, you bring a little bit of a different dynamic. I've seen, I've explored, I've researched a lot about the rent to own. I've even helped people get into it. And it seems you have a bit of a more, I want to say, personal touch, or there's something that makes it a little bit unique with yourself. I think that's the relationship piece that you bring into the space. And maybe you could explore that, you know, help us understand what's the dynamic that you purposely are bringing into your business.
Well, when I started, I was doing a lot of it more hands-on, and I can't, to scale,
Yep.
but I've got the right team.
Yes.
I have a new assistant this year, and she's the onboarding person you're going to talk to, and she's just great and finds out their story, and we try and make, strategies with them. And sometimes maybe they won't be coming to us till 4 months, 5 months from now, but we've got them started.
Right.
And, or if we feel they can qualify for a mortgage, we send them to the mortgage broker. Sometimes that happens. My realtor is really key. She is my last one. The people said, oh no, we won't see her anymore. They loved her because they got their house and everything. So she's very personable, knows exactly where to show them and won't show them things are out of their price range. Or we also don't let them buy a bad property because sometimes they do want something and we're going, no, it's not good enough because of this or this. And we also have an inspection, so that, there's always a property inspection. The financial advisor and the mortgage broker. So we all work together and make it happen. And then I do meet with them personally, though, because we do want to make sure we just got that gut feeling that this is the right person. And then we work with immigration, too. Like, not myself, I haven't yet, but my realtor is making relationships with immigration groups. And she's done a couple presentations. And, I have a few Filipino families that I've worked with personally, and I'm trying to find out more, like, what can we do to help them when they first come to the country, and maybe not after they, some things happened, credit is so much easier. That's what I understand. That's what they tell us. So sometimes you kind of get caught up in that. And so if we can help them first to get in a house and then go get your, the bigger TV or house or car later, Because sometimes with cars, the loans are so easy to get, but then it wrecks your chance of getting a mortgage.
That's right.
And two of the ladies, they came and they said we would never, it was two sisters with their two sons, and they worked together to get the house. And they said they'd never be able to afford that in the Philippines. And, that when we renovated the house specifically for them, and the kids are saying, he was 18, he'd never had a bedroom of his own, and he wanted to know if he could pick a color. And I said, sure, here's the color fan, go for it, because, it's their place, And that's what you want them to feel, that it's their house, even though they don't quite have it yet.
Brilliant. Absolutely love that. Donna, that, sharing what you shared with us today really helps us to understand rent to own, and specifically that it is actually a great strategy for different types of investors. and market selection is what you sort of control and own. So I absolutely love that. So if I was interested in getting to connect with Donna, what's probably the best way to connect with you?
I have emails, so that Donna at freedomlifestyleinc.com. My website is freedomlifestyleinc.com, and or I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm out there somewhere.
Nice. And I will put your contact information in the comments below, so you guys can always get to connect with Donna if you have questions or anything like that. As you can see, Donna is always welcoming and happy to sort of give an answer and help people along their journey as well. So Donna, again, appreciate everything you've done for us today. I really appreciate you sharing so much of your knowledge with us. What a sort of, we're going to come up to the end of this segment now, but any sort of last tips or parting words that you want to give to our viewers?
Well, I'm always available. Reach out. And if you just want to learn about rent own, you give me a call and we can chat. My website has some podcasts on it. You can understand a little bit more about what rent to own is about. And yeah, I'd love to connect. And I have a newsletter too, so you can sign up for that, and just gives a few tips on it and what kind of investments we're doing.
Brilliant. Well, Donna, thank you so very much for being a guest on the Pineapple Podcast. And to our viewers, remember, guys, hit the like and subscribe and the notify button as we grow our base. And feel free to share this with anybody that you would think would love to learn a little bit more about the rent-to-own strategy. And this is your host, Mitch Parmasar, just saying goodbye to you. And remember, it's all about being tough on the outside, sweet on the inside. Wear your crown of gratitude proudly as you journey in the real estate world. Thank you. Bye-bye.